We are back with round one back nine coverage from the Konopiste Open 2018 presented by Discmania, the first PDGA major of 2018. I am Nate Sexton. I'm joined by
Big Germ.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a great card. Paul McBeth. We've got Will Schusterick, Schusterick, Vikström, and Jakob Knápek.
We got Kuba. Kuba.
But leading our card, Schusterick, 15 years old. Here's our little intros. Paul, you've heard of him. He's got a couple titles. Will, great to see him playing well. His putt looks good today. Schusterick, 15 years old from Finland, and Jakob, 17 years old from Czech Republic. Hole 10, par 3, 112 meters, moving to the right, turnover mid-range or big forehand.
And this is when you get the next three holes are all ones that you really would like to get. We're in this stretch here where there's some of the easiest holes in the course, the first, second, third, fourth easiest, going back to hole 8, but also the two hardest in the 17th handicap on hole 9. And so these are some of these holes that you just got to throw forehand. Just let the disc break down to the right. Pick up your birdie.
Let's see what Schusterick's got. That's great. Just a little short, but it's nice to see. I think, as the Finnish juniors come up, they're getting better and better. And when I think of the classic European disc golfer, he doesn't really throw a forehand.
Yeah.
So to see these guys coming out with great forehands, as Paul McBeth shows us, a perfect forehand. But I think that bodes well for the future of these European players, that they're going to be even more dangerous than they already are.
Sure, having the multiple throwing orientations is, clearly the wave of the future. And, clearly Jakob is a player who's thrown a ton of forehands, so he's another junior throwing a bunch of both ways.
And Will is looking for a bullseye.
Yeah.
Bullseye is under 3 meters, so it's kind of like a little added bonus on the stats. You can say, hey, I drove this thing under 3 meters. Your putting stats don't even count from that range because it's almost thought of as a tap-in. Oh, just barely too high from Schusterick.
There was a time, I believe, that Paul was telling us that Schusterick was talking to him, and they had a gallery, of course. You're always going to have a gallery if McBeth's in the group and Schusterick's in the group. But he's obviously 5 down in the start was such a great start for him. But he had turned to Paul and he said, "This pressure, I like this."
Yeah.
And Paul says, "Oh man, we're in trouble."
Hole 11, par 5, 311 meters. This is a long one, but it is definitely an eagle chance. You need to throw a distance driver and get it to turn over down this gap and come back into this landing zone that we're flying over right now, and then you've got about 400 to 450 feet. Very doable shot down to the green. The big fir trees on the left, a lot have fallen down since last year, so this hole is playing a lot easier now. Not really any punishment for hyzering out early, so it's playing as easy as it ever has, but it's still 2 huge shots to set yourself up for an eagle chance. Paul with the late flip.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's going to give him pretty much all the distance you'd ever really want to give yourself a position for the eagle shot in 2. I think maybe a little bit higher for Paul would have given him the distance he needed, but Will showing the late flip.
Wow.
Bending the disc down the fairway perfectly. It looked like an early release.
It really did. That must be a nice flippy one.
Wow.
This one won't flip.
Not as much.
And that can be a tough spot. As you can see, this tree is touching the ground, the branches. So depending where you end up there, that can be really a difficult place. And Jakob also not quite going to get the flip he's looking for.
So close. It was right on the brink of being able to turn over, but just didn't quite catch that edge that he was looking for.
And as you can see, it's never good when you got to go to a knee from 600 feet away.
Sure.
But Schusterick with a good pitch out should still be able to get himself a birdie putt on this par 5. Boom.
Wow. And yeah, just the height was a little bit off, but
Don't go
Wow.
in there. It's okay. It's a good out. I mean, he was in a tough spot. Unlikely he could have got there for eagle, so he'll be happy with that. He should have a routine upshot to get his birdie putt.
And Paul didn't like it, didn't quite commit to the disc's angle enough, and catches the edge of one of those furs, and that's going to put him out of position for the eagle. Still a very easy birdie, though. Oh, and Will's put a good move on this one.
Oh, yeah. Get around, get around, get around.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah. Great
Great.
shot. Inside the circle, maybe 7 or 8 meters away for his 3.
And this would be a really good birdie if Schusterick can get there. Looks like he can.
Oh, my goodness, bullseye. Wow.
That was perfect. After having to go just throw that little pitch out shot, the recovery, fantastic. And that got away from Jakob a little bit, but he'll still be there.
One of Paul's most impressive traits, I believe, is his ability to keep the height or the line right on every single jump putt.
Nice birdie there. Yeah, he's dangerous from really any distance.
And Will for eagle. Oh, count it.
Nice.
What a great 3.
Will's one of 8 eagles on the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the craziest thing, but it's still, the field is a full 144. So you really have to play the hole well.
Yeah, and that was a hole that UC had predicted 12 eagles on the weekend, and we got 8 in round 1. So I think that's gonna.
I think we may go blasting past that.
I think so too. Yeah.
Hole 12 is a par 4 playing around the corner and then over the pond. The tee shot is pretty confined. You can play a turnover backhand or a forehand. You'd like to find this landing zone here. Then you've got the scary shot. You got to split between the trees and clear the water to find this green. A lot of out of bounds, a lot of danger.
The hole is almost shaped like a U-turn. It's really difficult to truly appreciate the angle change once you get to the bend here.
This looks fantastic if it keeps turning. A little bit too much.
Wow, it didn't quite hold the turn as much as it needed to. This is hands down, without question, the hardest hole on the course, averaging 0.7 strokes above par at 4.7.
Oh, I know the feeling, Paul.
And
That's a very bad miss.
And that's the way you have to throw the hole, just a touch harder, a little bit more steam, and he would have been in a great spot. But you have to hug it tight to the right. It has to be high, otherwise the forehand just won't get to that spot that you need for your second.
Scotty's flexing out a little. Not exactly what he'd like, but it's not bad. He'll have a long shot over the pond, though.
And Jakob going.
This looks good.
This does look good. Oh,
Come on.
man.
So close. Paul's going to try to lay this up to the water's edge.
And you can see he's got such a tricky shot just to get to a position where he still has 250, 300 feet, 80, 90 meters. You're the meters guy, I'm the feet guy, I think.
Yeah, it's good to have one of each.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going for this?
I
It
certainly
looks like he is.
Oh, man, that is a crazy decision to make. Did he skip up safe?
I can't
No.
imagine he did.
No.
Yeah, that is very, very high risk play, because that was probably 120 meters
Yeah,
through a low gap over all that OB.
right. And that's just one of those learning curve decision-making times when maybe a player a little bit more experienced might have decided that that's not a shot that you need to go for in that situation.
I think he'll be able to move up to the edge. He should be able to. He should be in an ideal place to cross and save a single bogey. There you go, Jakob. Smooth.
Yeah, great shot. And he admitted in his intros that he was nervous. He started off nervous the first couple holes, which is only to be expected. Since then, he's actually, settled down and.
Oh. Safe.
Okay, so Paul is going to have a really difficult shot for par.
He's lucky to be in bounds.
Wow.
Good recovery.
Yeah, almost drains that for the par.
So this is Paul putting for a par.
Yeah, never really had a chance there.
Will takes a par. Ascari for bogey.
It's one of those par fours where you're really happy with a 4.
Yeah.
You know, this is the one that you would expect if somebody had a hot round going through. If they took a par on this one, they're still continuing their hot round.
Yeah, for sure. You need a perfect drive, otherwise you just can't. You can't birdie it.
Correct.
13th is a par 3, 108 meters on a bit of a left to right slope. A turnover mid-range works great, or a forehand. You just have to be careful to control the glide, as it's pretty easy to go long or right as you kind of glide down the hill. Looks like Will's going to go putter. Maybe a little heavy on the turnover. Just a little. Great shot. And Kuba looking good here.
Oh, man.
Could have used a little more skip, but still a nice shot. Paul with the destroyer. Right there on the green. Oh, this looks good. Woo!
And you can see the grass is just not giving those big skips, that those angled forehand drives are coming on that skip angle and just collecting the ground softly and sitting right there. And Will, another nice putt. He's putting together a nice round.
Absolutely. Paul with a birdie.
Washing out that missed putt there on 12.
And Ascari can cancel out his bogey as well.
Oh, yeah. Cancellation in progress. Mission accomplished.
And Jakob will have to settle for the only par. He was close there, just a little low on the putt. Hole 14, par 4, 256 meters. This one you want a long, low distance driver moving left, because you have to clear past this wall of trees on the left, but hyzer before you get to this next tree island on the right. Then you set up probably about a 100-meter shot, going kind of over the rise, finishing uphill at the green. Can be a pretty simple hole if you get that drive right, but if you don't, again, it's scrambling.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up a little bit more. I think it's good, Will. Oh, he was right. He knows more than I do. Ooh, and that's not a good roll.
That pro backspin is not looking good.
That was a terrible roll.
Mm-hmm. I want to say he's out of position because it seems like he's still in the open, but it rolled back to the right, which actually is going to make the angle pretty difficult. And that's ideal.
Yeah, liking that. Oh, no.
Wow.
And that tree, it might not look in the way, but it certainly is in people's heads. That's pretty easy to hit as you're thinking big hyzer.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of it gets away from you, and that's not the first time I've seen people hit that tree.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly didn't look like a shank out of his hand by any means. Looked like a good throw, but the ceiling is low right there in that one spot, and that's really
right where
all
you want to be.
Right.
That's all he can really do. Good recovery shot. Get up there on the fairway. Kind of where a fantastic drive would have landed. This should be interesting. Big turnover.
Oh, goodness. This is looking amazing.
It is.
Wow. What an effort from back there for Will.
Wow.
Oh, man, past the basket. That's a huge second.
Big forehand from Jakob.
Gonna put him right there at 10 meters.
Paul with the hyzer.
That's how this hole is drawn up to be played. Hyzer, hyzer. That's Paul has done a good job in executing the game plan pretty well here.
And there's a nice hyzer to the pin. I personally like to use a big germ Thunderbird in that situation.
Oh.
Just thought I'd let you know.
It's actually the time that I thought to myself, this is a big germ Thunderbird shot. I literally, that's exactly what I threw for the approach. It's funny.
Great outside circle putt from Jakob. Will, another birdie. Scotty, par.
Good par save.
And Paul makes a birdie. Well played hole overall. Hole 15, par 4, 228, going downhill the whole way. This one you just want to throw another distance driver, as is sort of the theme out here. Big long course. You got to stay to the right of these branches, maybe just a slight turnover, and then finish down left. But if you go too far left, as you can see, there's just forest over there, so you're going to be in trouble. You got to find the fairway, but distance is a big factor because this narrowing at the end makes it difficult to make your approach from more than maybe 100 meters.
And UC was calling that these past two holes should be star frames for the whole group, and when the lead card open comes through. So, you know, once the cards aren't scattered around like they are the first round.
Yeah, they're definitely birdies that you'd like to be getting for sure. At the top level, there's not a lot in the way on the drive on either of them. If you can do what Will just did there,
yeah,
you're feeling good.
That's asking a lot, but that was a great shot there from Will. But yeah, you're right. It's just a matter of keeping a drive up in the air, not turned over too much. But yeah, this is starting to break back towards the fairway.
Far right, but no, it's okay. He didn't like it out of his hand, but I think he'll be fine with that spot.
And that is much too far right. And that is going to, depending on where it lands, it could be a forehand approach or nothing at all.
Yeah, at least the right guy got over there if you need a forehand to get out.
You're not wrong.
Nice shot.
15 years old.
It's not very old.
No, it's very few years. I've been playing almost for 15 years.
I've been playing for more than.
Wow. And speaking of good forehand, wow. So there you go. He had a line. He hit it perfectly.
Perfect shot. Ooh, this doesn't look good. Well, actually kind of turned out okay. Grazed a few leaves on its way, but he's down there. And Paul going with a Firebird. I think that was ducks, and I got to give it a nod. That was a decent shot.
Yeah.
Against all odds. Nice birdie. And that's a fantastic birdie from Jakob after the bad drive. Great recovery to make just an absolute tap-in putt. And we didn't even have to wait for the lead groups to form to see a star frame.
Yeah.
And again, Will saying we should shake these chains. We're in Czechia. And everyone's just walking away.
That's, again, we'll shake them for you today, buddy.
16, par 5. This one is tough. 302 meters, starting out down this tunnel that is a very long tunnel. It's hard to get. The best drive you're going to see is going to reach that sunlight, perhaps. Then you've got a long turnover shot and a low ceiling finish. So the very best second shots might get you down into the shade, but then you've still got some branches to contend with, and you've even got some OB behind the basket if you really get aggressive. Probably one of the most difficult drives on the course.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Will's almost out, but he's still on the corner, but that should give him enough space to throw the big high anhyzer that you need for the second shot. As long as you're in a place where you can throw a second shot, getting around the corner isn't going to really do... It helps, of course. And, you know, that kicked off to the right, but that could be in a decent spot too. It's really hard to say.
Oh no. Early release and a bad kick. If this moves a little left, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that qualifies. That's a really good shot.
The backdoor tunnel. Is that what he's going for? It looks like it, but he has missed that gap, and another bad kick off to the right.
And those are stinging nettles, folks.
And they do sting.
They definitely sting.
They are not named that just a... it's not an ironic name.
No.
They are certainly very stingy. I wore pants for that purpose.
I didn't, and I was stung.
Paul was in a pretty awkward spot, and it's going to leave him a difficult third shot to get down to the green, but if anybody can do it, he would be the guy.
Oh, too much turn. Oh boy.
Man, neck high nettle.
Legs and arms on fire as he throws this shot. Not bad. Happy to see the short grass again, I'm sure. Look at this laser beam.
Wow.
Fantastic.
It's an impressive throw, that low ceiling.
Another nice one.
Wow, look at this. Oh my goodness. What a recovery shot. These kids are putting on a clinic.
Yeah, those were both super difficult shots. That ceiling is no more than 10 feet. And those are probably 370-foot shots.
Oh, wow. And Paul has fought through. Who cares about the foliage that's in the way? He goes right past it in the circle. He'll be putting for a birdie from about 8 meters.
Good shot from Will.
Well, this actually might be closer to 10 meters, but I don't think it makes a difference when it's Paul.
No. Birdie. Will for a birdie. Just inside the circle, and he hits another. Nicely done. Scotty with birdie. That's an amazing par.
Yeah.
After the first two shots?
Mm-hmm. And you know his arms are just lit up right now.
Oh, absolutely. The 17th is an uphill par 4, 175 meters with OB along the left side. So you've got to throw as far as possible without finishing left beyond those feather flags. And then you've got a tough upshot because you got to get around this tree, and the OB does wrap around the pin, getting a little bit tighter as you get up near the basket. So you have to play either maybe 2 huge forehands, giant turnover, then a forehand, 2 turnovers. Really a lot of ways to do it, but distance is key off the tee.
Very important. That second shot is so uphill that if you don't get a big tee shot off, it's going to be really difficult to get your second shot anywhere near the basket. And it's crazy to say on a 534-foot hole. I mean, that's not a hole that you would think would take 2 big shots to get to, but it is just uphill all the way from the tee.
For me, it's like 2 full forehands.
Mm-hmm. You go forehand off the tee.
When I'm feeling a little nervous, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But I'll go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm feeling frisky, I'll go backhand. If I'm feeling like, oh, boring old birdie will work, I'll probably go forehand.
Well, boring old birdie did not work for Simon in 2016 when he was trailing 2 strokes going into the final 2 and knew he had to go eagle birdie, and did, and threw one way up the fairway and tossed in a putter. It was a miraculous finish.
Yeah, I was in the group. One of the more incredible finishes I've ever witnessed. Jakob with the forehand going a little early. Has to go standstill now. Just stay in bounds.
That is a ton of power with that forehand. I mean, that's
nice.
That's going to be way short of the circle, but that still gives him a putt, and that's not an easy thing to do from back there.
This can be a scary shot, the turnover up this hill, fighting away from the OB. I think the temptation is to do that, overturn it a little bit.
And he got away with it.
Paul after a big drive. Good forehand to the bullseye.
Wow. Throwing it that high and being able to get the power to still get all the way up there. That's
Scotty with a nice shot as well.
It's more difficult than he makes it look. That is for sure.
Most disc golf related skills are more difficult than he makes them look. Good effort from Jakob, but a little bit right.
Once again,
I mean, obviously, you know, Will's had kind of a long road back from injury. And one of the things that people are always ragging on him is his putt. And his putt is looking awesome today. So it's cool to see. You know, he's really playing solid. He's making almost everything he should make. And, you know, he's really always had the skills driving. So if he can get his putt together, you know, we can start saying Will's back, and that's going to be good for the game. 18, par 3, downhill, 136 meters. Great finishing hole. No OB, really. Just going straight down the hill. Putter, mid-range, even a flex forehand is available. But it's just a fun hole to throw. You're at the elevated tee, and you get to just put it up in the air and watch the disc glide down. See if you can make birdie. Will's effort looks pretty good here.
Oh, yeah.
Don't flip.
It's trying the whole way, and a tree probably helped him a little bit, actually.
Yeah, might have saved him 5 feet.
McBeth going with a rock here.
And that looks like it's getting away from him a little bit.
It's crazy how at 446 feet, how easy it is to go long on this hole.
Yeah.
With a mid-range.
It's a fun type of hole to throw. And that is short, early release. 15 meters maybe. It's hard to get to the pin that low.
Yeah, there's 2 shots about that 15 to 16 meter range. Let's see if Jakob can finish with a highlight birdie in front of the home crowd. Oh, good looking
really
effort.
Really good try.
Oh, man.
Wow. Impressive stuff, though, from Schusterick.
No comment. Paul outside the circle. Another great putt. Great round. 11 under for McBeth with 2 bogeys.
Wow.
That's saying a lot.
Solid play from Jakob. Tough to play in front of the cameras first time.
And Will is in, and he too as at 11 under. A great starting round. UC Roseman shared that he thinks 4 10-unders will take the title. I'm not sure if I believe that. I think it might be a little bit better than that this year, because I just think that the competition has just stepped up their game from the previous years. But 2 11-unders, that is going to trail the leader by not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 strokes. Eagle McMahon off to a 16-under start.
Look at our green hits. We got Paul leading the way at 67%. Bullseyes at Schusterick at 17, so when he hits the green, he makes it count. And inside circle putting, Schusterick 100%, and Paul bringing up the rear at 86. Penalties, everyone with 1. Jakob had to take 2. Here is the leaderboard. Eagle 16, Simon 14, KJ 12, Seppo 12. Our lead card, 4 different countries represented. That's how it should be at an international major. We will be back bringing you second round action tomorrow.